Hello, good afternoon.
Why are you always so corporate-y when you answer? Don't you know it's me?
Glad to hear from you.
Don't you know it's me?
I take it it does come up, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that's kind of how I've always answered the phone and kind of how I've gotten used to it.
It doesn't bother me at all.
Wonderful. Back from your birthday bash, it seems. How did it go?
Oh, really, really good. At 51 years old, I'm feeling a little bit different, to be honest. I'm glad you called it a bash and not a vacation because I never put anything on hold. I mean, I understand that with my clients, folks like you, it's not that I can't say, hey, I'm going to take 3 weeks off. I don't. And it's really inherent in me that I want to be working. I really do. I'm not a sit on the beach guy. It's just not in my nature. I feel guilty, if you will. You know, the beer tastes better when you've painted a fence. So that's just my CEO mindset, if you will. But in this case, we were invited guests of a billionaire. So I start off with the money talk. I'm a millionaire, and I don't lead with that. I don't have that on a business card. We could get into the nitty-gritty of what that means. And I've been thinking a lot very recently about precisely what that means, because when you're hanging out with billionaires, you realize how very different everything is. I asked him a bunch of questions about it. I interviewed him for my YouTube channel. It's Rick Lindsay, so he owns an insurance company, and a big one. There's only about 900 insurance companies in the US. I should say there are as many as 900. And Rick reached out through a mutual friend. It started with my daughter and her shooting career, her competition shooting career, and being interested and intrigued, not in influencers like me. I can influence laundromat operators to perhaps use them as an insurance company. But I don't like the word influencer. Then my daughter deals with shooting ranges and firearms manufacturers, all the way down to concealed weapon permit holders. You know, X Insurance is the parent company, and X Insurance can insure all of that. But we were invited, and we were really treated. Let me put it this way. I drive new cars. Rick flies new helicopters. It's nuts. I mean, it's crazy. His daily driver is an MD 500. His daily driver is a Little Bird. It was built for the Guatemalan military, and their check bounced, and so he scooped it up cheap. I don't know, $7 million or something. And he flies it to his office every day and back to his house, lands it, puts it in his garage. Now, me saying these words seems so odd and dogmatic and goofy, but he hosted us at one of his residences in Utah that he built to treat people. So ski resort, gated community. Again, I live in a gated community, but the differences are so stark. When we showed up, the guy waved at me, and I thought, wow, this is a crazy gated community. There's a few thousand acres and only 30 some odd houses. Shelley looked it up. It's $90,000 in dues a year just to live inside this gate. So there's a guard 24 hours, all that. But I later found out, I'm like, you guys aren't doing the job, Rick. They just let me in. He's like, they know who you are. I found out the second day when I came in as a different guy. Danny said my name, knew my name. I mean, there's not a guest list. They don't write down your plate. Again, just stark differences. The whole week, we didn't go into our pockets. The twin Sub-Z refrigerators, full of not only food. They asked me, what is Daniela like? I said, grape soda. It was wall-to-wall grape soda and IPA. It was a phenomenal experience. Rick came over. He looked for a bottle opener. he had never been in the house since it's completed. I mean, it's mind-numbing. He didn't know, and this guy is a self-made man. I think that's very important. We got along thick as thieves. We went to the club, a different club. We shot shotgun sporting clays. Daniela cleaned up. It was amazing. You know, these people always love her. Daniela D'Angelo, if you don't follow her YouTube channel. And went to dinner afterward. This is an exclusive club. Rick had mentioned that his buddy built the place. Mike is his name. $145 million. He said, do you believe he spent $145 million building this place? It's only got 30 rooms. It's a private club, sporting club, 25 members. That's all they have in the club. Not looking for more members. I tried to find them on Instagram. They don't exist. It's just mind-numbing. It's a different world. It inspired me, I think, the way that I tend to inspire some people. We sat to dinner. It's one of those, we went at the bar, grabbed a drink. There was no way they would let us pay for the drinks. The guy behind the bar knew. He knew what I drank. He knew what Shelley drank. Then we went in the back. The table was, it probably seated 20. Me, wife and kids, Rick, and Brian, his guy, my friend. They sat me at the head of the table. Rick sat next to me. Rick showed up a little bit late. He seemed tired. And after he had his soup, he pepped up. It was one of the most amazing conversations that I've ever had. He talked about Allstate. He talked about Geico. I think he got a kick out of me, and he told a third party even the next day, he's like, Danny's not a bullshitter. That's what I really like. I think it's odd when you get in front of somebody, when they roll up in a $500,000 car, when they show up in a chopper. To Rick, it's not about that. It's about expedience. Time is definitely money, if you know what I mean. The last day we went skiing, and we pulled up to the valet, and we were taking our skis out, a beautiful ski resort. And valets are all dressed to the nines in green, and I'm helping the guy with the skis. And here it's noon, and here comes Rick's chopper ripping straight over. And I look up and I recognize it. That's his chopper. He's literally 500 feet over the ground. He comes over the top of the ski mountain and right over us. And I just feel compelled to say to this man whom I've never met, that's my friend Rick. And this guy perks up, and he's so excited, even for me. He's like, really? Wow. And I said, yeah, he's on his way to his office. I think he thought, well, I'm going to get a good tip out of this guy. Skied for the day. Let's put it this way. The week, we didn't go into our pockets one time. I bought gas for my truck. It was phenomenal. Again, not about the money, but when you meet these people, when you sit next to these people, when you hear their stories, it's so inspiring. And I sat down with him and I interviewed him for the YouTube channel. So you guys are going to be seeing that. My influence in the laundromat, I told him, I said, this is not a big deal. There's not tons of laundromats. It's not going to be huge. Didn't care. As we were driving back, I got the text that we're invited to his Lake Powell house. And it's ironic because we were driving by there. It's a 10-hour drive. And I already find myself thinking, I didn't know I needed a helicopter, but now I do. For him, it's 20 minutes to get to Lake Powell, if that, from his door. Unbelievable. So watch out for more. All right. I actually was in Phoenix today, and I visited the laundromat. So that's on the YouTube channel if you saw it. Are you still there? Did you give up? Did you hang up?
I didn't see it as of yet, but yeah, from what I saw when I was there last, it seems as though notes have been placed on the door, requesting their items, which is,
yeah, I saw that, and I put that in the video that I made. On the inside is from the previous operator that says family. What does it say? Family emergency.
Right.
And of course, it's not a family emergency. On the outside, it says LL for landlord, which is a designation that we understand, or the operator's name, you have my laundry. So she's been locked out. And again, it's heartbreaking. Yep. It's heartbreaking. There was some homeless. It's kind of an enclave there. You are going to fix that. I saw some shoes and some items. I picked it all up. It really brings me back when I see these homeless folks in the parking lot, in the area, around my laundromats. I see red because they are knuckleheads. I'm not saying there's no mental illness. I'm not saying that I don't give to charity. That's no one's business what I do. But when someone is affecting my business, they gots to go. So I scooped up all that stuff that was right in front of the laundromat. I threw it right in the dumpster. My wife is like, oh my goodness. No problem, okay? I can handle myself. I'm doing this essentially not for YouTube clicks. I'm doing it for my future operator. I'll take an entire... See, the police, they don't want to zip up homeless guys. You know why? Because they don't want to put their personal items in their vehicle. If they take a homeless guy and arrest them for trespass, they have to take all of their stuff and impound it. Never thought of that, did you?
Nope.
When you speak directly to the officers that are doing the job, they don't like to do that. Let's just say, I'll take their cart. They leave their cart, they go to the nearest corner with their sign, whatever they're doing. I'll take their cart, put it over near the dumpster, in the dumpster, by the dumpster. No apologies. Half of it is stuff that they've pulled from the laundromat anyway. Leave it over there. You're only calling the police when they are harassing your customers. We'll talk about all that later. All right, it's just over 5 p.m. locally. Let's call Sean and see what's up with the letter of intent. I get to blathering on, and here's what happens. All right, here we go. Stand by. This is an LOI follow-up. Sean, I appreciate your being willing to do the work after 5 p.m., although it's only 1 minute past. How's it going, buddy?
Office hours until 6.
Oh, good. Glad to hear it. You got the LOI. We have some discussion. What's going on?
Well, we can't just do $10 a square foot, and can't do a gross lease either.
No, I'm not asking. I'm sure what we put in the LOI is our start, and we're not asking for gross. If the triple nets are what they are, what are your triple nets? $6, if I remember.
Well, it did say gross, and gross is basically.
No, I know exactly. No, that's
expensive.
Yeah, that's not what we're asking for. And my apologies. If it said gross rate on there anywhere, that was probably from a previous boilerplate lease. So my apologies. Our ask is always going to be the starting rate, and then I do have some gross lease rates right now, but they're pretty rare. I mean, we're expecting triple nets, whatever that is. So that's our starting point.
Okay. Well, the triple net is $6.87.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
$16.87.
Sure. What we expect you to do is come back and hit us up with the total amount, and that's certainly survivable for us, of course.
Well, there's been some developments. So the owner, I guess, talked to his attorney, and he said that, well, we just did the lockout. We didn't do the eviction. And so she can still bring it to the court.
Sure.
And claim that we're interfering with her business practice. She probably won't have much of a claim because then we would counterclaim it for an eviction. But the owner wants to give her the chance to pay back the 3 months of rent that's behind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she's going to come up with it because she closed for, I think, a month. I guess she had COVID and she was struggling before that. So legally, we're giving her a chance to come up with it. I don't think she will unless some miracle happens. But,
well, like I said before, and this, what we are doing with that letter of intent, we know that all of this is a recent development. What we're doing with the LOI, We are trying to hammer out details so that your side understands that you're going to have a good long-term tenant in place the minute that we are able to do so. We're not looking to sign a lease here. We're looking to have everything hammered out. And again, I can put this in verbiage, or you can, we could have it as an addendum where we are looking to figure out precisely where we're at so that we can sign that lease contingent on the exit of the current tenant. Like you said, I've seen this far too many times. The operator, they've done everything they can. She tried to sell it for years, and the price went from $500,000 to $200,000, and then finally I get locked out. I don't understand it, but the condition of the store, or COVID, or only being able to operate with the preponderance of the income in this store was coming from wash, dry, fold, from drop off, and that's great. If you've got a dozen employees, that's just not what we do. I don't intend on working in the store. There is, salt of the earth, sweeping the floors. I'm not against it, but that's not how we operate. Never will our success be hinged upon my personal involvement, Christopher's personal involvement. So all we want to do is hash out the detail. If it's 30 days, we expect it to be 90.
Well, she's paying $11 a square foot right now.
I beg to differ. And I want to talk about that. She's not paying and hasn't been paying. And no argument, okay?
Well, that's what the lease is that she has.
Sure. Second, we are looking for a reset, obviously. And the biggest thing, Sean, is the third. Third, we aren't going to operate the store the way it is. The equipment that's inside that store is junk. That's why she can't make money. It's not because the tree is blocking the sign or because she doesn't do anything about the homeless. We'll fix that. It's not because the parking lot hasn't been redone. I was just by there today. It's perfect. It's not because there's not a 24-hour 7-Eleven within spitting distance. That's perfect. Cards on the table. Nothing wrong. But what do you care? Because we're going to have debt service on that new equipment. We've got to lay out that money. The difference between us and her, she wasn't doing any of that. She had no debt service. All she's doing is paying the bills. She had lost sight a very long time ago how to run a successful coin laundry. So we do need a reset.
Well, it's not my decision. It's the owner's decision.
Sure. Well, we started the conversation with this huge misunderstanding. My fault. I apologize. I'm not looking for I don't expect a $10 gross lease rate. Of course not. So now we're at 15 and some change.
Okay. That sounds, not 15, 16.97.
Right. 1697. So almost $17 with triple nets. Sure. Like I said, you can text, we can talk, but obviously the spoken word is often misunderstood. I prefer talking to you about it. And we're not looking to do this tomorrow. We're looking at several stores in the valley. We always are. And if this ends up being another store, it's not a feather in the cap they blow away. It's a jewel in the crown. All of my favorite stores are the new ones because we have to limp those babies along. We have to make sure that they end up profitable.
Mm-hmm. Well, the owner wasn't too thrilled or happy about the $10 a square foot offer, so I guess that's what kind of maybe gave
Sure.
it an impression. Well, Christina,
not a gross lease rate, of course not. We're going to be spending far more on our equipment note than the lease, so all of these come into play. I didn't want to make the landlord decide that he wants to get rid of a laundromat because that's all they can ever afford. We expect reasonable increases, and those bumps will show us at some future date in the 15 years at a higher rate as well. That's obvious. She's topped out. She's at the end of her lease rate.
Yeah, kind of. All right, well, I will talk to the owner again about it. We could make it contingent upon the surrender of the tenant.
current tenant. And then once that's finalized, then we can go into the lease.
Absolutely. Again, this
Okay.
is a simple matter of putting us in first position. I mean, we're probably going to want first right of refusal to buy the building as well. That comes later. There's no need to discuss that until we talk about what's in the LOI. So apologies if that was not crystal clear, and let me know. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, I will talk to them about it, and tell them that you were willing to accept $10 a square foot and the triple net,
Absolutely.
and see what transpires.
Thanks, Sean. Let me know. Day or night, after hours, I'm here to talk about it.
Okay. Were there any other terms that you wanted to change?
No, I mean, you have the LOI, everything's lined out there. Just let us know what, I mean, I can't negotiate against myself. Just let me know what you can do. I know what you can't do. We're a lot closer now.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, I'll let you know.
Bye-bye. All right, so what just happened?
Well, what just happened, it seems as though they had a little bit of confusion in or around the LOI, and maybe that's my fault. I put in there the gross. What I tried to do.
So you did add the word gross, did you?
No, I didn't add the gross. Add the word gross. Gross was already in there. But what I did is I took the monthly rent and the triple nets and added it together and got the monthly total rent. So if he looks more closely at it, he'll notice that there's both the base rent and the triple nets that are included as far as that's concerned. So it is essentially a triple net lease, but I understand where he's coming from. He says it's a gross lease. Fair enough. We can change that.
Look, I don't, like I said, it's not a big deal. I don't have it in front of me. So whenever, right. I do 3 LOIs a day. So that is precisely why when we have the good conversation, I give the LOI to you, the client, and I have you go through it. Then we're never going to send it the same day, ever. You saw what happens. You go through it and you're like, okay, you sent the first draft in a few hours. Wasn't ready. Things that you end up changing normally, like I want this or I want that or I want to do that, and I'll say, well, you don't want to ask for air conditioning if it already has it, because they're going to say, you're nuts. We're not going to install HVAC. For instance, you want to say, well, we want to warranty the HVAC for the first 5 years, or whatever the case may be, because then you'll know it will be appropriate or changed out. Just little things. I don't have it in front of me. Here's what you need to understand. He wanted to talk to us. Think bigger picture. If they really wanted to ignore you or thought this was nuts, they wouldn't have bothered to email me, call me back, and want to get us on the phone. That's number one. Okay? There's no way and for everybody listening, $10 is not 9 more than we can afford. It's less than $1 a square foot. $1 is 12. The next thing, he was waiting for me to say, well, we'll give you 11. That's preposterous. Did you feel that little tinkle in the pee-pee when he said, is there anything else that you want to change or offer?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Right. And I like how you said we're not going to negotiate against ourselves. So what it is how it is. And if you have an issue, then come back to us and we'll have a conversation about it.
No, nothing else. Your LOI, my letter of intent, asks for 12 months free. He didn't even mention that.
Another thing. Exactly. And that's what I thought was a very big thing when he sent the email back to us and said, well, I looked it over and the only issue I have is it said gross. I'm thinking to myself, well, we asked for TI. We asked for the 12 months abatement. I'm like, if that's the only issue you have, well, we're good to go.
Again, you've never signed a commercial lease. You've never dealt with this type of thing before. And here I am telling you, this dude didn't balk about any of it. Even we could give him 12. You understand that my standard is $12 a square foot, And we're arguing over the fact
Right.
that he wants 11. This is the way the game, unfortunately, is played. I've also heard all the time, well, this guy's going to go watch your YouTube channel. No, he's not. Even if he did, I'm not doing or saying anything behind anyone's back in these videos. Anyone. This is 101. Too many people say, God, I want a food truck. And they go out and buy a food truck. And they spend too much money on said food truck. Then they realize that they don't have any permits, that they don't know where to park the food truck, and their empanadas just aren't that damn good, and they lose 500 grand. I'm just here to smooth out the bumps. Understand what happened in that call. The preponderance of what I do is help you to understand that you need to wait it out. He said two things. Well, we can't do gross. I don't know. I need to look at it. My LOI doesn't say gross anywhere on it. It doesn't differentiate. So unless you typed out that 5-letter word, it's not in there.
It's possible. I mean, it may be my mistake. I know that I asked a note. I know I put a note in there, a comment asking you the question as far as the gross and the net was concerned.
Yeah, and a letter of intent is just that, our intentions, no more, no less. And then he said, well, you realize that she's not going to be, we can't sign this lease. I said on the first conversation that we had on this very channel, I'm YouTubing this, I said, we will sign a lease and negotiate that lease contingent on the exit of the current tenant. I said that.
You did say that, yeah.
But maybe he wasn't paying attention. So I have to put some of this behind me at some point, and really what this call was, what this was all about, what the thumbnail is that this guy wanted, did you hear the moment when he said, well, she's paying 11?
Mm-hmm.
What did I say? It was pretty good.
That's fine, but she's topped out at 11. She's not.
No, I said, no, she isn't.
You know.
Sorry.
Right, she's topped out.
I'm a hard ass. He said, she's paying $11 a square foot. I said, no, she isn't. She's not in there. She's been locked out. How is that an argument?
3 months behind on rent.
I'm not crossing my fingers that you get this store because it doesn't matter, because there's so many stores in the greater Phoenix area. There's so many stores in Tucson. There's so many stores in Los Angeles, New York City, Ottumwa, Iowa. You just need to get out and scout those existing stores. How long have you and I been calling landlords in this process?
2 or 3 months.
Time well spent and money not wasted. We all know that you were offered her $250,000 for this store. Why didn't she take the money and run? Because she had such a horrific relationship with her landlord. She should have done everything she could to make that happen. But she was spending every single, imagine how devastated she must be that she's been spending the last 20 years every waking hour in this store. This is a mindset thing, like we started this call. I don't vacation. Can't stand it. I have a penthouse that I own outright in Mexico. And when I go down there, I don't just change light bulbs. I do things. I'll strip my front door. I'll paint my garage. Labor is very, very cheap. But the beer tastes better at the end of the day when you've done something to deserve it. Massage on the beach is great. I'll give you that. But it's better when you've worked for it. This guy's going to get back with us. Keep scouting stores, keep putting them in the document, and we will keep banging down doors.
Will do.
It's a great call. Good work. Anything else?
Not for me.
Thank you, brother. Get some sleep. Don't let this keep you awake at night.
Okay.
Why do you laugh? Has it already done that?
Yeah, I don't get quality sleep as it is, so
Okay.
you're yeah.
Well, I'm just speaking to the fact that I you've heard me say it. I'm not a motivational speaker. That's too ambiguous. It's not what I do. And I'm not a counselor. I don't counsel people, but I end up doing that. When I started this, people wondered, well, how can you possibly negotiate a lease when you're not here? Danny, can you fly out to Ohio? Why? I don't need to. I know that. Now you know that. Now you understand that. We'll probably shake hands. I want to watch you retool this place anyway. I'll be there with the phone. All right, goodbye.
Okay. Take care.
Well, I have to change that thing now because I'm 51. I've been watching your live comments over here. Tinkle in the PP. Yes, Kevin. Tell a grade school teacher 1 equals 12. No, it's 80 cents. I love it. Thank you, Bob. $11. He won't be able to go higher. Yeah, that's funny. You're correct, Jeff. And we're already better off at 11. He did. Thank you, Bob. I am straight up. Guys, if you're here and you're on here and you're watching this, there's so much more to come. If you love this negotiating stuff or you're just a fan of Danny and my hair, thank you. If you want to change your life, if I motivate you, do it. I have this thing for you. I have cash laundromats for you as a plan to change everything. There are millions to be had in laundromats. Millions. Cash. It's scary. I get the emails every day.
Do I need to have an LLC? What type of paperwork is involved?
Is that really scary? You know what scares the hell out of me? A job. I did it for 6 years in the Navy. I did it till I was 28 years old and started owning the company. And in every job, just over broke, every job I ever had, I learned something's not right here. This person who's in charge isn't doing it correctly. Yeah, even in the United States Navy. And started to become the person I am now as a consultancy. I have my fingers in plenty of pies. Real estate is phenomenal. People talk about it all the time. My buddy Rick, we flew over 200 acres he's got there. He's pointing, that's where I'm going to put the house. Mind-numbing. But he can look back. He's only 10 years older than me. I need to get to work. Making those moves, making those changes. I'm sitting in $1 million home. I own it outright. I said to my wife, you know what we need to do? We need to leverage our house. It's not about having a paid mortgage. It's about me being an idiot for sitting on $1 million and doing nothing with it. I've got the cojones. I just need the idea. Don't start writing where you want me to give you this and that and the other. I will help you do this. I have laundromats for you. If you're watching this and you're a fan, everybody drops off. Get the course. If you're on here and you've seen it, tell them about it. Please. Not for my sake, for their sake. There's always going to be a portion of this where I say, get the course. It used to be the DVD. I didn't care for years. Get it if you want it.
Oh, I don't have a DVD player.
Okay. I started to think, well, shit, neither do I. I've got one in my truck. I thought I was a high roller. I never knew I needed a helicopter. If you're one of the people that's in this process with me, you've got my cell phone number. If you're on here and we've consulted and we've talked and you've got my cell phone number, let's get you calling landlords. This is easy stuff. I don't have to gird my loins or take a shot of whiskey to call a landlord or his agent. These are just folks that want to do business. And when they put their foot in a bear trap and they say, well, she's paying $11. No, she's not. Every time I ask my client, what did you just hear? They're normally trying to pick up the pieces. Hopefully there's a recording of that call. The highs and lows, what really happened. I feel great. I didn't beat up Sean. I didn't hurt his feelings. The thumbnail on this call is, she's paying $11. Zoinks? She's not even paying anything anymore. Let me see the course. I'll give you a shout out. I want to see the person that clicks on it and buys it. All my YouTube videos have it. It's 100% guaranteed. Not guaranteed to get you into a free cash laundromat. Don't be silly. It's guaranteed that when you see it, you're going to say, oh, wow. Now I know when I put my pants on tomorrow morning, how to put one foot in front of the other and start scooping up these stores. You want my personal help? Email me right now, Danny@freelaundromat.com. Any questions you have. You can email me, how does it work? How is it free? Don't buy someone's failure.com. It doesn't sing. Go out and scout existing laundromats. Find dogs. Christopher looked at this place when it was operating. He walked in there. Let's back up even further. I offered her $100,000 for this location in Phoenix almost 16 years ago, along with all the other stores I was trying to buy. I found a store and gave $250,000 for it. Then I realized I shouldn't have bought that store. I was in Christopher's precise boots. Mine are bigger. She wanted $500,000 to try to sell a business that she didn't own, try to sell used equipment that is worthless, and people are doing this every single day. I am the most hated man in this industry. Google my name. Look deep onto Facebook. When these people are scattering like roaches because they're scared to death that someone's going to hear about me and save you $200,000, $300,000, don't do it. Scout existing stores, sign a long-term lease, retool the store using other people's money. For the price of an SUV, you can end up scooping up $500,000 in one of these stores. Do the math. It's Miller time. You want to email me right now? Great. You get the course, it's streaming. I've got it all set up. Boom. You put the clickety-click, and you'll be watching me in that course. It's not a secret how it works, but it's all in one place. It's all there. Christopher did it. Several people on here do it. How are you going to end up in a substantial wealth category? Seriously.
I'm going to do real estate.
It takes money to do that. I apologize. Sorry. Not sorry. Folks that earn tens of millions of dollars in real estate are either realtors during a boom or they're investing and reinvesting. What I have for you is real. It's laundromats. It's coin laundromats. Don't buy one. Get the course. Watch it. And then say, Danny, this was bollocks. I want my money back. You'll be the first one that ever did. No one ever has. Too much information. Whether or not you put one foot in front of the other and get that first store, That has to do with the fear that lives in your heart. Do it. Do it. Got questions? Email me, Danny@freelaundromat.com. Let's get this done together. It's just another store, another day in the life. God bless.